I'm Lauren Greci, and you are listening to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast, the show where we chat all the things. Life, motherhood, Jesus, food, beauty and wellness, and so much more. So grab a hot cup of coffee, kick back, and relax with us. I hope that you find joy, laughter, and encouragement today and every day. Thanks for being here. Hey friends, and welcome to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Greci, and I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait for you to hear my conversation with my dear friend and my hairstylist, Kortnee VanCleave of Top Knot Stylist. Not only is she a fabulous hairstylist, but she is also a dear friend and a mom, and we talked all the things. So let's jump right into our conversation. Hey friends, I am so excited to see you all today. I have my dear friend, my hairstylist, Kortnee VanCleave from Top Knot Stylist. She is a mom to her son, Levi. She's been a hairstylist for over 10 years, almost 10 years, I should say, and she owns her own salon. So I am actually just so excited to talk with you, Kortnee. How was the frozen week that we had here?
Oh, we're so over it. It was good. We did the rolling blackouts just like many other people. Luckily, we still had water. We didn't have any burst pipes or whatever. So after the first 3 days, we actually went out and played in it after the negative cold 0 weather went away. So we had fun. We made the most of it. What about you guys?
Oh, we loved it. I mean, it wasn't terrible. My husband absolutely hated it. He thought, he loves the lake and he loves summer. And I mean, we all do, but I don't know. I feel like there's no bad weather. There's just bad clothing. So as long as you're bundled up appropriately, you'll be fine. And I think once we hit 0, like anything above that was like, oh, this is amazing.
Oh my goodness, you were telling the truth. So we actually went outside the first day when it was like 0, and we were outside for maybe 5 minutes. We're like, no, we're going inside.
Yeah.
So we got outside like day 3 or 4. I don't remember what it was. It was probably 20 degrees. And my mom comes outside. She's like, how's it going? And I was like, it's great. It's actually kind of hot out here. But it's crazy what that difference can make.
Oh, I know. It's absolutely so true though. And my youngest, Clark, he's a mountain man, I think, in his heart of hearts. He was like swimming in the snow. He was like laying down in it and saying good night. He was pretending to sleep. I mean, He had a heyday with it. And it's just so nice to be able to like go outside and just go play in the snow. But it was funny because it was so icy, the snow, that you couldn't make a snowman. Were y'all able to?
No, it was too powdery. It was like almost like flour or sugar outside. So like once it melted a little bit, it was easier to pack, but it was still like you had to hold it in your hands for a second, solidify it.
Yeah, I couldn't even make snowballs to like try to, knock them out a couple of times. It didn't even work.
Man, our one shot.
I know, we tried. We had good attempts, but we did make some snow angels, and that was a lot of fun. I haven't made a snow angel in forever because I've always just been so cold and like, I don't want to lay in it. I don't want to get wet. And I was like, you know what? Just do it. And I just laid in the snow and looked up at the sky, and it was so just, after it snows and it's so cold, everything is so crisp and clean and refreshing. Like it's just crisp outside. And
I love the little diamonds that you could see when it's like fresh or diamonds.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
You could tell we're Texans for sure. I know. Yeah. Up north, they're like, hush. There's nothing magical.
We've been in negatives for 2 weeks already.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. Well, and then too, now your son, because of, y'all are Plano ISD. So did school go back or is he doing virtual for a few days?
No, we're back. So luckily his school was perfectly fine and my salon was perfectly fine because they're catty corner from each other. So I texted the manager. I was like, hey, how's the salon?
I know.
And she was like, every room is perfectly fine. And I was like, thank goodness, because I wouldn't know what to do if any of my pipes burst. So I was honestly like, I was very thankful. So I didn't have internet for almost 4 days. And I was so naive and blissfully unaware that all of Texas was going through this because I had no internet. So the day I get internet, I'm like scrolling through Facebook and like there's articles about like people having to camp out in their living room with no water because pipes are bursting everywhere. And I'm like, oh, we have it so easy here with no power for a couple of hours. So
Yeah.
it was a really good perspective check. And it just made me thankful that what we went through was nothing compared to South Texas. I'm pretty sure Austin got it harder.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
But
Some people got really, really bad. My heart breaks and goes out to everybody who, their house is flooded, business is flooded. I mean, it was horrible. Like, just to see, there was one car, she was on the news of an apartment complex, and she parked underneath the pipes, and it poured water straight down. Hers was like the only car there, and it all froze. And her car was like locked in with this frozen tundra around her car. It was nuts. I'll have to find a picture and
how do
send it to
you
you.
even get that out? You just wait for it to melt on days like today where it's 75, 80
Right.
degrees
Oh my gosh.
a week later.
Yeah, I know. We were at the Little Elm Beach today, and it was just nuts. I mean, I had on my like yoga pants, but a tank top, and I was like, this lake was literally frozen last week. No joke. There's pictures of the beach of people walking out on the lake. And mom note, children don't ever do that.
No.
Especially in Texas.
No.
No. They had to have been like 20-pound little girls running out there. I don't know, but yeah, it was crazy.
Gosh.
So we enjoyed the beach today and the sun, and it was just so crazy that last week we were freezing.
Oh, it's insane. Well, I think the swing in temperature changes like made everybody's allergies go crazy because like Levi's been sneezing nonstop. Same with me. One of my girlfriends was like, my allergies have blown up today. And I was like, honestly, I think it's just the temperature.
I think so too.
So
yeah, Clark's been sneezing like crazy too. Like he'll just walk, but when he sneezes too, it's not like he goes, Hutch! Like he emphasizes it. And I'm like, what are you doing, child? Like you could just sneeze normal. It's all right.
Well, some people can't help it. Like me and my mom, we both sneeze like grown men. Like we're like, Jill. There's no like one of my oldest friends, she sneezes like, and I'm like, was that a sneeze?
Didn't somebody in Friends used to sneeze like that? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Who was the one that dated Chandler? The one with the big hair. Oh my gosh, you know who I'm talking about, right? Everyone who watches this is going to be
Bing. Oh my gosh,
did she sneeze like that? She would be like
Janet.
Yes, she would sneeze like that.
Janet or Janice?
Janice? Was it Janice? Oh man, we're gonna have a lot of comments on this one. We'll have to
and I've seen it so many times through. I'm so ashamed of myself.
Oh, I know. Same here. I love her, and I loved when she would come in and especially whenever they were having babies at the same time, and she's like, "Oh my god,"
and their faces were like,
I love it. I love Fred. That's such a good episode. Yeah. Every time we go to like move furniture, we're like, pivot.
I almost wore my Central Perk t-shirt. We can start again.
Unrecord, re-record. Yeah, that's hilarious. I know. We have a mutual respect for friends. Okay, well, let's get started into a little bit about you. So I know I already said that you're a mom. Do you want to talk about like being a mom and all that stuff real quick?
I mean, it's fun. It's the greatest thing ever. I honestly never planned on being a mom when I was younger, but I was young and dumb, 18, 19, 20s, and got pregnant with him when I was 21. So it kind of forced me to grow up really fast. And this was after I became a hairstylist. So I was fortunate enough to have a career to fall back on. But I had him and lived with his dad for almost 2 years, but not quite. We wound up getting engaged, and we found out we were way better friends than partners. And that's kind of how my hair business started. Like I took a break from it when I was pregnant with Levi because I was on bed rest for 2 months. And then he came, and then it was the new mom thing. And so I was very fortunate. He tried to come out early. I don't
Really?
remember what the timeline was, like how many weeks, but basically, so I was on bed rest for 2 months, and then I was able to walk around the last month because he would have been considered full term, or I don't healthy enough to live, I guess.
Mhm.
But I just remember having contractions in, so I don't remember how many weeks. I want to say like 25 weeks ish.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, these aren't Braxton Hicks. Like they're very continuous and on track to go into labor. So we went to the hospital and they're like, yeah, you're in labor. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
no, I'm
Like, no.
not. Like, make it stop. I was like, we're halfway done. So my doctor basically told me, he's like, you can pee and you can lay in bed,
My
like walk to the
gosh.
bathroom. And so I was really lucky because his dad at the time had it was a full-time job, but he only worked 3 days a week.
Mhm.
So he worked Friday, Saturdays, Sundays. And whenever he wasn't at work, I went to my mom's house and she took care of me during the weekends while he went to work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was a princess for two
Oh,
months. I watched so much Netflix and I had all of my meals cooked for me and I just laid in this bed.
nice.
And it
So
was
was
not
pregnancy,
always.
you loved being pregnant then, for the most part?
Um, yeah. I mean, I miss it some days, but other days I'm like, I don't know if I want another kid right now.
Yeah.
Especially during like COVID times. I think it'd be crazy to have a baby, but
Yes. Well, I've
I mean, props
heard
to
some
everybody else who
stories.
could do that.
Yeah. Some of the men, like whenever they go in, they have to take everything with them. I think we talked about this last time when I was getting my hair done with you, that everything they bring in, they're not allowed to leave and go back out of the hospital again until they are discharged. Like, so can you imagine like just the stress of making sure that you absolutely have everything, you know? Like, oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh. Well, and then like in the beginning of COVID, like I've heard people having to give birth without their husbands, like doing it all alone. And I'm just like, that's miserable.
Mm,
Like,
yeah,
I would
absolutely.
not. But I mean, it was fun. But I think Levi's almost 7. So that's definitely a big decision because I'd have to be starting all over and I have
Right.
no prospects right now. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you kind of have to have that.
Well, and it's seven's a nice age, you know? They are so
He's
much more
so much fun.
independent and
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so spring break is in 2 weeks. I was gonna take him to go skiing in Colorado, and then this ice capades happened, and I was like, no,
yeah.
we're done. So I'm in the works of trying to surprise him with Disney World in
Oh,
2 weeks.
what?
So yes,
Oh
so
my
it's gonna
gosh,
be
that's
nice
gonna be
and hot.
amazing.
I
Yes.
know.
So he has
Yeah.
no idea.
Um, we've talked about it a little bit, but he just knows that we're going to Florida. And I was
Well,
like, "Well, what are you gonna do in Florida?" And he was like, I want to go jet skiing." And I was
yeah.
like, "You wanna hang out with alligators? Like, they have this alligator farm that I'll probably hook a day up there and stuff like
Mhm.
that." But he is, I don't think he has any idea.
Oh, that is gonna be
So
amazing. I cannot wait to see
yeah.
pictures and hear all about it. You have
Oh,
to
it'll
take a
be all
video.
over Instagram.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
Yes.
take a video whenever you tell him that like we're going to Disney.
Well, I can't decide if I want to tell him before we go or just like go to Florida, check into our wherever we're staying, and then just be like, "Oh, by the way, we're not going to the beach. We're going to Disney World right now."
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what you should do. We took the boys to Disneyland when we were in California, and we didn't tell them that we were going. We had one extra day, and we were staying in the hotel. And I want to say it was that morning. Yeah, it was that morning. We were getting them dressed, and I had, a Disney shirt for them. We didn't have matching ones, but it was everybody had a shirt that had Mickey on
Oh,
them.
you best believe I'm going to the Disney store
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah. I know. I couldn't pull it together fast enough. But yeah, so we just basically, I was like, hey, what's on your shirt? And he's like, Mickey, and then the younger one is obsessed with Mickey and just like his bedding in his room is Mickey Mouse and all that.
Mm.
And he was like, that's Mickey. And I was like, yeah, where does Mickey live? And we like slowly like
we're like, and that's where we're going today. Like, let's go. And they're like,
Oh.
what? Like, it was still not really processing. And then it finally clicked and they were jumping up and down, and it
Oh
was
my
so much fun.
gosh.
We were
I
there
love the
from,
videos of them crying. I think
oh
that's
yeah.
so cute.
Oh yeah. I think we were there from like gate to gate as soon as they opened, because we had one day. So we maxed it out. We went from as soon as it opened to as soon as it closed. And I was shocked. Troy, this was 2 years ago. So he was 5.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he walked the whole thing with us. We didn't get a stroller for him or anything. Clark was in a stroller, an umbrella stroller, but no, he walked the whole way with us, and it was pretty decent. Like, it wasn't that bad, and the lines weren't too terrible. Um, so yeah, y'all are gonna have a blast. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. Well, I contemplated going because I was like, well, it's COVID. And then I've had so many people go to Disney World and they're like, there's nobody there.
No.
And like the weather is going to be perfect. And like we still have to wear masks and stuff and all that. But I was like, you know what? If we're going to like squeeze every ounce of this out as we can, like it's probably the best time to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, cool. All right. Well, let's back up and let's talk a little bit. How did you start your journey as being a hairstylist?
Well, I guess backing up to when I became a single mom, we decided that we were better off as friends. So I was living with my parents, and I actually started a sales job. And I did that. This is so long ago. I want to say like 9 months, and I actually really liked it. But then, and I was still doing hair on like the weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays. Then it got to a point to where I was working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at sales. And then I was doing hair on the weekends. So I was literally working 7 days a week. And I was like, you know what? This doesn't make sense. I'm not going to live in my parents' house forever. So, if I'm going to make a career out of hairstyling, I'm going to do it now. And so I kind of bit the bullet. I quit my sales job with only weekend clients. That's like 1 to 2 days a week worth of clients, which is not much money at all. Got my own apartment and started doing hair from there and advertising for more of a part-time salon hour, because I mean full-time would have been impossible. But it was the only way that I could really afford to live, because as a single mom, like daycare was $1,100 a month and rent was $1,200 a month at my very cheap, not so safe apartment complex. And so the job that I had, that was my entire paycheck. And so I was like, well, it makes sense for me to start out of my apartment. I don't have to put him in daycare. So all I have to do is make rent. Sorry, I keep getting texts from my mom. She wants to know how this is going. We're still in it. And so I kind of launched it out of my apartment. And I was like, you know what? I would rather be safe than sorry. So I'm only going to do women's hair. Like, not that I have a problem with men, but I don't want random men knowing where I live and coming in here and setting myself for something that potential. Because it's just a single mom and my kid. Like, I gotta be mama bear. So that kind of stuck. And I haven't really opened my door to a whole bunch of men's haircuts. Like I do Levi's, my dad's and my brother's. But like every once in a while I'll get the random guy who wants their hair done and I'm like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But I honestly, there's something about women's hair. Like, I don't know if we just connect on a different level because you're sitting in my chair for 3 hours or rather than like 15 to 30 minutes, or what. But about a year in after doing hair in my apartment, I actually started sharing a salon suite with my cousin. And this salon suite was tiny. It was tiny. So there wasn't a whole bunch of room for us to like store our products in, but it was such a great stepping stone for where I was versus where I am now. And I'm very thankful for it. And after a few months being with her, I was like, our clientele, both of our clienteles can't handle this small space. So that's when I moved to Phoenix Salon Suites, which it's where I am now. And I found another roommate or suite mate, whatever you want to call her. And the room was like 4 times the size. So we had plenty of room for all of our clients, all of our products. And that's honestly where everything just blew up. And I have had a business coach for about 4 years now. And they say, a business sinks or swims within the first 3 to 5 years. And with this business coach, she has doubled my business almost every year. COVID is an exception. I don't even know what happens during COVID year. I don't want to know. But the fact that it escalated so quickly, I was like, wow, this girl really knows what she's talking about. So like, I am all for investing in somebody teaching you what they've already taken so much time to know and learn, and just help you, almost like slingshot you forward with all of the knowledge. It's a beautiful thing. And it's scary investing at first, because as a single mom, like I was in my apartment, I'm going to be so transparent. I was living off food stamps. Like that's the only way Levi and I were able to eat. The only way we could get out was go to the zoo, because we were gifted a membership. So we could go for free all the time. And we would go to the park and like the free splash pads and stuff. So that year we literally lived very minimally. I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, and then living minimally and then paying for like a business coach.
Yes. So investing in a business coach was definitely scary. But I was like, you know what? If I'm going to really make this work, I have to do this right. And so it was the best decision that I had ever made. And I still have her to this day, and listen to all her podcasts and do all of her little sessions, like workbooks and stuff like that. So
that's so good.
Yeah. So I'm a supporter of business coaches. Like they're awesome. You just have to find the right one.
That's great. So what made you want to get into hair, like from the very beginning?
Honestly, I never thought I would be a hairstylist.
Yeah.
I went to college to be a psychologist or a counselor, or something that had to do with people. Instead, I became a therapist. And so I just remember sitting in class, and I was looking at the professor, and I just had so much pent up energy that it turned into resentment, and that resentment turned into anger. And I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, it's just one of those moments where you're just so fed up. And I was like, I don't even know why. Like, this teacher's nice. The work isn't too hard, but it's just, I knew I was in the wrong place. So I was driving home from class one day, and I was like, I'm not going back tomorrow. And so my mom was like, well, what's your backup plan? And I was like, I don't know, I'll do hair. And honestly, I think that exact sentence came from God, because not once had I ever thought about doing hair. So I set up a tour with Paul Mitchell, and the next week I took the tour and signed up. And I actually was more into the makeup aspect of cosmetology. And they were like, well, if you do cosmetology rather than aesthetics, you have all of your bases covered. You could do hair, makeup, nails, the whole shebang. And so I was like, okay, cool. I like options. So I went, and they didn't teach us a thing about makeup, which I also think was a blessing in disguise, because hairstyling it's definitely more my calling than makeup. But that's honestly how I got started. There's no like lifelong wanting to be a hairstylist story, knowing since I was 6, doing all my Barbie's makeups. Like, I was the biggest tomboy. I played soccer for 14 years. Like, all of my friends were guys. And, like, we would play Mercy, like punching each other in the shoulder. Like, I was a guy's girl. And I wound up being in the most feminine industry that I
And now
possibly
you
could
even
have.
do like weddings and stuff too,
I
right?
know,
Like
yes.
you,
Oh,
yeah.
I love them. Weddings are so fun. Like, if I can get on a tangent for a second, like,
Yeah.
you get to go into a space filled with so much positive excitement and energy. And it's like 9 times out of 10, it's like Backstreet Boys playing in the background or Britney Spears, because we're all
Mhm.
90s babies. Like, some of the 2000s kids are starting to get married, so it's not as much
Mhm.
throwback music anymore. But um and then you just like, you're a part of somebody's huge special day. Like, it's monumental, and they chose you to help. So it's just like a very honorable feeling, and it's just like, oh my gosh, humbling, I guess is a better word.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. Like, you just go in there and you curl hair and you style it, and like, if they don't
Oh.
like it, you take it down and change it. Like, it's
Right.
super easy.
Have you had any of the like Godzilla brides or anything? Has anyone ever been like super rude or
um
mean or anything?
No, not
That's
really. I get
good.
that question a lot, and I honestly think it's because of trials,
Mhm.
like bridal trials beforehand. I think that really helps calm nerves of brides, because it's, if you think about it, kind of like a dress fitting. Like, you go into the bridal shop having an idea of what you want your dress to be like, and you try the dress on and you hate it, and
Mhm.
then you try something on that you've never thought about in a million years that you would love, and you wind up falling in love with it. And so
Mhm.
I explain that as kind of like a hair trial. Like, you go in thinking that you want a half up, half down, but really you want it all up,
Mhm.
or vice versa. And so this bridal trial is really just getting everybody on the same page. And I ask all the questions. I'm like, how do you want your bridesmaids' hair? Do you want them completely different than yours? Do you want them all down? Do you want them curled? Do you want them up? Do you want them to just do whatever they feel like is most beautiful on them? Like,
Mhm.
and I feel like all asking all the right questions, it's peaceful to them. And
Yeah.
so you get there and you're all on the same page. So I mean, I haven't had a bridezilla yet, knock on
Nice.
wood.
So you do more than just the bride. You're doing the whole party too, huh?
Yes. My
Ah,
biggest party was, I think, 9 girls by
oh my
myself.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I tend to split that up. I'll either hire help, or I think I was able to do it because like half of them were down in just curls, which you can whip that out real quick.
Mhm.
And then other ones were just like a little braid or like a little pin up, and
Mhm.
then the bride was all up. So that's not too bad. But if everyone had an updo, whew,
Yeah.
that would be a lot.
So do you save the bride for last, or how does that work?
Yes. So basically, I just make a timeline. Whoever's hair does not hold the curl the best, and
Mm.
they for some reason want it curly,
Mhm.
I will save them for right before the bride. But the bride always goes last, because I want every hair to be perfection on her.
Mhm.
Um, and so I'll basically just, it's kind of like first come, first serve, whoever can get there first and sit in the
Yeah.
chair. It doesn't really matter the order a
Mhm.
ton. Makeup artists and I, who have worked with in the past, we've just been really good at like collaborating our schedules and just being like, well, who do you want first? Who do you want last? And it just seems to mesh really well. It's kind of a go with the flow type of deal, as long as the bride is 100,000% taken care of.
Mhm.
Everything else just kind of comes naturally. So
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. It's fun.
Nice. So then I have a
Hmm.
crazy question. What is your
Yeah.
favorite style to do then?
Oh, I can actually send you a picture.
Yeah.
It's, let me put my phone down real quick. I am in love with more of like a
Oh yeah.
low do kind of down here with a little bit of volume. And I mean, my hair is doing it naturally, and some face framing pieces. I think honestly that goes with most dress styles, most face shapes. I think it's elegant, but it's also soft and kind of worn without being too like hairspray helmet to your head.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
It's definitely one of my go-tos for sure.
Yeah. Nice. Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I forget, since we're kind of talking about hair and stuff, we did have a couple of questions and I want you to answer these before we go on.
Cool.
What is a tip then? So you kind of mentioned the hairspray, pinning things down, because I have it too, where because you do my hair, the baby hairs. So that was a question from Ashley. How do you handle baby hairs?
First of all, do not fry them because I know that's the first place and probably the last that your flat iron goes, because we want to tame those suckers. It's like in the most awkward of places too, especially with a cute hairdo, like with what you have going on right now. Use a heat protectant. I would say use a bond builder on them too. And honestly, baby them because they're baby hairs. As for styling, use less heat, because the hair around your hairline is probably the most fragile hair. So it lifts the fastest if you're going blonde. It fries the fastest if you're using too much heat. So lower your iron, whether that be the first thing that you do, just turn it on, turn it all the way low, and then handle those things, and then turn it up to whatever you're normally doing it on. And then do the rest of your hair, or do all of your hair first and then turn it off. And while it's like halfway cooled down, then use that heat to tackle them, because you don't want to fry them, because then they're never going to grow. And then they're really going to look fried and bad. So you just kind of got to take care of them. I honestly don't know if they ever go away. I think it's different on each person, but
yeah,
I mean, you kind of got to make the best of them. I actually really like baby hairs. So like whenever I do a ponytail, I always pull them down and it gives like cute face framing. So I'm not against them.
I try to tame mine pretty good. They're doing really a lot better. I think you even noticed this last time. I mean, this one's looking a little short, but they're getting there. They're getting there.
Yeah.
Well, Kaylee had a question too. She asked, what is a good clean shampoo for oily hair that actually works?
I think I would need to see her type of hair, because every hair is different. I would say, what does she mean by clean? Like sulfate free, like not tested on animals?
This was an Instagram
Okay.
question thread.
Well,
So I'm gonna guess probably like sulfate free or all the things free.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'll just answer them the best of my ability. If she has any more questions, she can just message me. I honestly love, so Kenra has a scalp detox mask. And I use that once a week, if not once every other week. You have to take care of your scalp. It's kind of like planting a pot of flowers. You have to have clean soil for your flowers to go correctly. And so this detox mask it's very gentle. So it just helps take away impurities like hairspray, dry shampoo, sweat, shampoo buildup, or conditioner buildup if you haven't washed. Well, if you conditioner shouldn't be at your roots anyway, but if you haven't washed it all away, because you're in a rush or just whatever it might be, like even pollen from outside could be stuck to your scalp. It's kind of a nasty area, so you gotta detox it. So I always start with a detox. It's in a black bottle by Kenra. I can send you all of this too. But then I really like Amika. They have a bunch of different lines. So like for my hair, I really like, oh gosh, what's it called? It's called Velveteen Dream. So it's more of a smoothing shampoo and conditioner. Just because my hair, I don't even know if you can tell right now, it's super frizzy just from the change in weather. And it's a little bit more dry. If her hair is thicker, I would suggest that. If her hair is a little bit more on the fine, thin side, I would recommend Nomcore. It's an everyday shampoo. It's great for all hair types. If she colors it, there's one called the Vault. It's a color locking one. If she has blonde hair, there's a purple one. It's just, they have so many different options. And if her hair is feeling kind of damaged, they have a repair line, which is also good. So, I mean, it really depends on her hair type. But for sure, I would say the detox mask for her scalp. I think that would help a little bit of oil, and then also dry shampoo. I live off of that stuff. And then Amika is sulfate free. I really like them. There's so many other lines though. Like I just choose Amika because it smells like
it
perfume.
smells amazing. It smells so good.
And it works. Like everything they say it does, it really does. So
yeah,
it's dependable.
Friends, would you do me a favor? Would you subscribe wherever you're listening? It makes a huge difference for the Lifestyle with Lauren community, and I would be so appreciative. I know some of you have also found this show because a friend shared it with you. So if you could share this with a friend, that would be great. Thank you for subscribing, sharing, liking, showing all the love and support. Today's show was edited, mixed, and put together by Jennifer Miner. Music was provided by Matt Bowen, and I'm your host, Lauren Greci. Thank you for listening. Now let's jump back into the conversation with Kortnee.
I have a question about that scalp detox mask. Is that one of those, like you wet your hair and then you kind of leave it on and then 30 minutes later, or how does that?
Oh, no, it's super quick. So you get in the shower. I shampoo my hair first just because I want to like strip everything out, even though that's exactly what the detox mask is doing. But I want it to really penetrate my scalp rather than my hair. You just take it and you massage your scalp with it. I do it all over and it feels so nice. It has like these tiny little beads in it. And you leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. So like I will put that in my hair. I'll put like a face mask on and like an in-shower mask. I'll shave my legs and do all the lady things. All the things.
That takes 10 minutes on its own, right?
So like you can honestly do one leg and then wash that out, put your conditioning mask on the ends, because if you're drying out here, you want to moisturize down here because this is like the oldest part of your hair. You have to keep it hydrated, just like our bodies.
Okay.
So what do you put for down there? Mask. Oh, so many things. You should see my shower. I have all the products. I have been experimenting with Joico's. They have a bond building line. So I've been experimenting with their conditioning like mask type. I also have Amika's, but then I've also had like Moroccan Oil has a hydration mask. Olaplex, they have a couple of different things. So it really depends on your hair and what it's in, like the stage that it's in and what it's doing and what your hair goals are. So there's so many different lines.
So do you have a favorite for your hair? Like for you, what is your absolute favorite shampoo and conditioner?
Velveteen Dream by Amika.
Yeah, is it?
Yes, it just makes my hair so smooth without it being weighed down and greasy feeling. So
nice.
I'm kind of obsessed.
Yeah. Oh, I love everything. Amika, you totally turned me on to that brand for sure.
Sorry.
I love their stuff. I know. I love it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we had another question. What are some tips for postpartum hair loss? I guess that could be probably, I don't know, is that the same way you would treat your baby hairs, or is postpartum hair loss? That's a different thing, right? That's just losing hair.
So
right?
Yes, that is different. I think you just kind of have to live through it because like it kind of sucks. So we kind of get the short end of the stick in everything pregnancy besides like experiencing it all. But like all hormones, all of the body changes, like all of the hair loss and stuff. So what is actually happening when you're pregnant is your body isn't releasing as much hair as what your non-pregnant body normally is during pregnancy. So just to make this super simplistic, let's say our non-pregnant bodies are losing 100 hairs a day. And then we get pregnant. I don't know the exact ratio or like calculation or percentage or whatever. I don't even know if there is one. But while you're pregnant, your body's only losing 40 hairs a day, which is why when you're pregnant, your hair feels thick. And so after you have the baby and your hormones start to go back to normal, so does your hair loss. And so you're not necessarily losing, you are losing more hair, but you're losing the hair that you should have lost 6 months ago.
Okay.
So that's why it feels like an abundance of hair. And that's why your hair feels so much thinner, but actually your hair is going back towards your pre-baby
Mhm.
pregnant hair thickness. Wow,
You
my
would
words
think.
are so spot on.
No, I'm just, we have to give birth to a child and go through all of that. God could have been like, hey, I'm going to
Spare
let
the
you
hair.
keep the hair. You already
Well,
lose everything else with your body, but we'll keep the hair for you.
Yes. Well, there are like certain cases where it is like extreme hair loss, and I can be 100% honest and say I don't know what that is from. It could just be overactive hormones, and there are so many things that affect our hair, like thyroid and medication. And like in beauty school, they taught us if you get one strand of hair, our hair is like a ring on a tree. So the ring on the tree tells the life story of that specific tree. If you get a strand of our hair and gave it to a lab, they'd be able to tell what you ate on December 4th, 2019, if your hair is long enough. They can tell the last time you were with your husband if you want to
Wow.
get that intimate. And so it is, our hair is our own story. So it could have to do with an extreme change in hormones for some people. Other people, it's exactly what I described before, where it's just going back to normal. But I mean, pregnancy will, it can rock your world.
Yeah, does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So if someone is thinking that they're losing more hair than maybe they feel like they should, do you suggest them like bringing it up to the hairstylist as well, but then maybe going and getting hormones checked? I mean, I figure that wouldn't hurt.
Yes. So 9 times out of 10, that's probably more of a doctor issue because it's more internal. There are definitely like amazing shampoo and conditioners and like scalp treatments to help get hair back to normal. But then you're gonna have to be okay with all those new baby hairs coming in. So I mean, it kind of sucks all around if
Yeah.
you do experience that huge swing in hormones. But
Yeah.
I mean, I hope I answered that as best as I could.
You did. Okay. Well, I have a personal question. So
Shoot.
I feel like, well, you know my hair very well, so you can answer this specific to me. And we just chopped off a bunch, but I feel like my ends are going thinner than everything else faster. What can I do for that to make it not feel so thin, if that makes sense?
Well, are you using a moisturizing mask, or like what are you using on your hair besides shampoo and conditioner?
I use the Amika shampoo and conditioner. I have Amika's mask, but it's one that you put on, I think after you're not like in the shower with it. I think it's the one you put on like the smoothing mask or something like that. Smoothing gel. I don't know what it is. But then yeah, I use Olaplex maybe once every couple of weeks, like that leave-in treatment for 30 minutes.
Okay. You could try bumping that up. It could just be that your hair just doesn't like heat with being blonde.
Yeah, it could be.
Are you using a heat protectant?
I should. I haven't.
Lauren.
I know. Lauren, I forget so much. I'm like going, and then after I'm like halfway done, I'm like, oh wait, let me get it, and then I use it, and then half my hair has it and half of it doesn't. But I have the
okay. So
I have the
what we'll
Amika
do,
one.
we will get you a heat protectant that you can put on while your hair is damp after the shower. Because I'm not 100% the best at spraying on heat protectant before I go and do, excuse me, my own hair. So I have a couple of products. I change out my products like crazy. So I can't even tell you which specific one. I can actually send you a couple. I will send like a whole write-up of what I use. But
I will
basically,
put them all in the show notes. It'll be 5 pages.
Thankfully, we have a few weeks till you launch this.
That's right.
But basically, I just put it on my ends, like, since I have layers, like my ends are considered from like here and here. So,
yeah.
From basically halfway down my head, down through my ends. So that way it's always protected. You can try turning down the heat on whatever tool you're using.
Okay.
I would say, well, it also depends on what tool you're using, because I'm not even going to pretend to know what Celsius is.
Yeah,
But I would
no.
say 220 to 250 is pretty good. It seems very mild, but
Okay.
especially with like loose beachy waves, if you're going for that look, you don't need that
Mhm.
much heat. I always call it, you just need a kiss of heat, because
Okay.
all you're doing is bending your hair. You're not trying to get it in a wave. And then um, for flat ironing and trying to smooth it out, you might want to crank it up. But
Okay.
thicker hair has to be hotter just because it has to penetrate more. But
So let's talk about tools. What is a flat iron that you like most?
I have a couple. So Babyliss has always been my go-to, my strong and steady, my rock hard, like love them. My first flat iron was a Babyliss, and I think I got it when I was probably 16, and I just threw that sucker away last year.
It's
So
funny when you say products, I'm always like, oh, that's how you're supposed to say that. I always thought it was like Babyless.
I mean, people say it their own way. It's kind of like balayage. Balayage is supposed to be balayage, but people come in and they're like balayage, balayage, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh.
me. Remember? I'm like, can I have
Yeah.
I think the first time I completely butchered it. And then ever since I'm like, can I have that and then you finish it for me because
The hand
I
painted
can't even.
highlights.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't even try.
um, but there's one by Brazilian Blowout. I actually really like it. It's more of a ceramic plate, so it gets really hot. It's not as I'm just gonna use some very kindergarten words here. It's not as slidey on your hair. It has more of a grip, so it gives a little bit more tension, which I
Okay.
really like if you're really trying to straighten someone's hair.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you're just trying to take out frizz from like more of a blown out style, I really like the Babyliss because it is more of a glide rather than a grip.
Mhm.
I guess.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Is there a difference with hair dryers? Is it worth investing in a more expensive one versus just one you find at Walmart?
Absolutely. And um, I will be honest, I don't know the science behind why. I know that there's differences with like ions and like being able to control heat temperatures and speeds and stuff like that. And I know some cheaper ones you can, but I can 1000% guarantee you if you went and bought a $100 $200 blow dryer, you will tell a difference, because I for a long time used a cheapo little Revlon. It was a teal leopard print blow dryer. And I would notice that this is forever ago, that when I used it, my ends would get so ratted and like dry, almost fried feeling.
Mhm.
And when I went to Paul Mitchell, I got their blow dryer because it came with your kit. And I would use it on my hair if I felt like taking it out of my beautician box or kit or whatever you want to call it, because that thing was heavy. Like you carried
Mhm.
everything in school to and from. It was like this box on wheels that had your blow dryer, your curling iron. Anyway, if I felt like getting it out, I could tell a difference.
Mhm.
Um, yes. Now I have Babyliss, and if you use that thing on yourself, your hair comes out smooth. Like it doesn't take an arm and a leg to like brush it out. Like it's just, I don't really know the science behind it. I just know that I am not buying my blow dryers from Target or
Yeah.
Walmart or
No, that is so
Kroger.
good. Okay, yeah, it's time for me to invest in a new one. Maybe that's my problem. It's time to invest in a new one. I do
That
have
could be it. Yeah.
it could be because I have the Babyliss flat iron, but I've looked into a new hair dryer like ever.
Yes. Especially if you have naturally like wavy hair. I think,
Yeah.
I
And it's
don't know
kind
what the
of,
difference is.
yeah.
It's
Well,
amazing.
and my baby hairs in particular, this is immediately like waves and curls, but I do have more of
Yeah.
that natural wave that I have to either fight or embrace depending on the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you've got me convinced, and my husband will be very dismayed. Just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm doing best
But
I
it's
would.
all for the hair.
It is. It's so worth it. I will say I did ask him if he likes the blonde or the brunette more, and he does like the blonde more. So,
Oh, girl, you pull off both colors though. But I will say, I really like you blonde.
I like the blonde too. I like it a lot. And we did something fun this last time too. We did the oh gosh, what do you call it? Where it's like
Shadow root.
shadow root. Yes.
Yes.
So fun.
Oh, it was so fun. Don't you notice the difference? How it's like where you're not growing out as harsh.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's more like, I wish you could see it better, like in the light. Can you see it kind of? I don't know.
Girl, there is like, when there's a camera, I swear there's like there's no such thing as like good lighting indoors.
Yeah.
I've been messing with it forever. And then I'll take pictures of my beautiful client's hair and I'll be like, ugh, photos just don't do it justice. No. So I can kind of tell from here.
I have a ring light. Maybe I should like change the setting on it too, and I could like play with the lights and see if there's like a different color. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, good. Do you have anything else that you want to share or say before we go into the 3 questions that I ask everyone that comes on the show?
Ooh, oh, I'm kind of intimidated. Yes. So while I was kind of writing my script that I didn't follow at all, I had one goal, and it was honestly to inspire someone. If I can go from nothing to starting a business that not only is flourishing, but it's fulfilling. And it's something that I love to do. And it helps me to be able to provide for me and Levi and the lifestyle that we want. Like I pick him up from school every single day. If you have a dream in your heart, like go ahead and take the plunge. Like obviously, like think it out, do the pros and cons, budget for it. But I literally jumped with 2 feet in and I swam. Like sinking wasn't an option. But I feel like you have to follow a passion. And like we only get one life, and I'm going to be super cheesy here, but I'm not one to live a life with regret. And if I didn't start this business and I worked for somebody else, and not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, like it is definitely not for the faint of heart, but I say do it. Like be brave. It's so much fun and you learn so much.
Yeah.
But if I can do it, anyone can.
So then what is one tip you have to someone who is listening?
Do research. Like find someone who has already done it and ask what they have done, like what steps they've taken, if they have any resources. Like my resource was my business coach. Her name is Britt, the best person on the planet. And she's definitely like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, no excuses. Like if you want it this bad, you're going to make it happen. And oh, sorry, your books were empty last week. What are you going to do about it? And so very tough love, but I mean, you kind of need it in this kind of world. So, find someone to, I wouldn't say follow, but admire, and I guess kind of look up to, and like ask for help. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help because you're brand new at it. Like you're not expected to know how to walk when we're born. So why are we expected to run when we start a business? So figure out who that person is. Like stalk people on Instagram, honestly, TikTok. I just got into it because it is such a great resource for information. I thought it was all these silly videos of like dancing and like pets, which are super addicting. But it's honestly a really good resource for learning new things and like following new people who know what they're doing. Nice. But just make sure you do research and how long they've been doing whatever they've been doing for. So
good. I like that. And I never would have imagined TikTok to be a good resource for that. I have like never gone on TikTok. Maybe I should. I'm too old.
Oh girl, I could show you so many things. So a couple of people that I like to follow, obviously I love the hair videos. Like I will go on any social media platform with the intention of like catching up with clients or people, and I will get sucked into some hair videos. But then there's like these life hack things, like how to get the dirt out of your the things in between your tile. What is that called?
Oh, the grout.
Grout.
Yeah.
Or like quick hacks for making your dinners, or like it's just, there's a lot of valuable information. And
Aren't
I'm
they
like,
all like 15
what?
seconds too? Right? They're pretty short videos, or no?
Most are 15 seconds. I think there's like a 30-second option and a 1-minute
Ah,
option maybe. I don't know. I've been on it for like a total of 2 weeks. So I'm still new here.
That's funny. The only ones I've seen are the ones that go from that to Instagram. So I don't know. I guess, just like, I guess if you post on Instagram, then you can copy that to Facebook. So I'm guessing TikTok is probably the same way. You can make a TikTok and then copy it to Instagram somehow. So I've only seen a few, but
Well, I posted our time-lapse video to TikTok.
yes. Yeah, that was fun. What people didn't see was the processing, like the sitting
Right.
with all the foils
Yes.
and all of that.
Well, and honestly, that it had to have been like a 10-second video. It was really like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah. You know what would have been hysterical? So your clock wasn't working. Did you notice that? It would have been so funny to see it go like
Okay,
super
so
fast.
little known fact about me. One of my biggest pet peeves is the sounds of clocks ticking. You'll notice this clock doesn't work because I can't stand it. I don't put batteries in my clocks. They're all decorative. Although the one in my salon, the battery did die because that one is a silent clock. I love that clock because it is silent, but most of my clocks don't have battery.
Never buy Kortnee a clock.
Oh, so you know that silver, I have this little silver clock in my salon, and it's like a square, and it like sits on kind of like that. If you put batteries in it, it ticks. And so one day I came into the salon. This was before I was renting my chair out. I came into my salon, and the first thing I heard was that somebody put batteries in my clock. And I was like, who did this? But it was the first thing I heard. I don't know why I don't like the noise. It's just like I can ignore my child throwing a temper tantrum in the middle of Walmart, but I can't ignore a clock ticking.
Oh my gosh. You remember how I saw the face in your wall?
Yes.
Remember that? Maybe it was him. He put the
wasn't it like Sherlock Holmes or something?
I don't remember, but it's like one of those things, so people don't know that are listening.
The textured wall.
Yeah, it's the textured wall, but it's like, if you look at clouds and you see something out of the clouds, right? It was the texture in the wall literally looked like a nose and like eyes, and like it was almost like side looking at you too. Like it was.
I think I remember the exact spot. I think it's in the corner, yes,
to the left. I remember sitting in the chair. It's like on the left because you had me turned that way, and I was like, "You have a face in your wall."
I was like, "What?"
I know. And then you saw it, as I pointed it out. I was like, "Right there, see, look!" And you're like, "Oh,
that is hilarious! I can't believe you remember that."
What do you want to name him? Call him Gary. Oh, Sherlock.
Gary. I have an ex named Gary. I'm good. We can name him SpongeBob.
There you go. Call him SpongeBob. Where's old Spongy?
So
okay, so my 3 questions I asked everyone is, what are you reading? What are you loving? And what is making you laugh? So the reading, obviously just what you're reading. The loving, it could be anything. It could be jeans, food, hair products, which we've talked about all of them. So, and then what is making you laugh? And again, that could be literally anything. So let's start with, what are you reading?
Oh, reading. I read everything. I actually haven't read a fictional book in forever. So if y'all have any suggestions, please send them my way. I think I need a break. I'm all about the personal growth. So anything Rachel Hollis, I still love her, even though she got divorced. I think everybody deserves to be happy. So I don't judge her for that at all. So The Girl Wash Your Face, I think is more mom focused. And then the Stop Apologizing, I think is more business focused. Loved both of them because I can relate to both of them. I haven't read her new one, didn't see that coming yet, but it's definitely like in my Amazon shopping cart. There's another one. I don't honestly remember who the author is, but it's either 5 or 7 effective habits of successful people. I should probably get the title right.
No, we have that book. It's the 7, I think it's 7.
It's the
habits
7
of highly effective people.
Yes. It's just too much
Steven's read that book
verbiage.
twice. He's not a reader and he read that book twice.
Okay.
You
Go
can borrow
Steven. I have it.
Okay, that's what you're reading.
Yes. Yeah. I've recently gotten into Audible, but I haven't really like been consistent with it. I like my old-fashioned books and carpool.
Yes. Oh, I know. If you want a good like historical fiction, I think I was telling you about this when I was in your chair. American Dirt. Did I tell you about that?
Yes. About.
It was so
okay.
Good. It was
I
about
remember you telling me that.
a mom named Lydia, and she and her son, without giving away any spoilers, they were basically trying to flee Mexico from cartel, and I won't explain why, because that is the story basically. And it's her experiences, why she's fleeing, and how she flees, and
yes, I remember you telling me about that.
Oh my gosh,
I want to read it. You should send it to me.
I will. A friend of mine is actually borrowing it right now. So when she's done with it, I'll let you read it.
Oh, I meant the title. I'll go get it. I don't even have to bring it through.
Well, it's good to share books. I like sharing books.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So then what are you loving?
Ooh, so many things. Okay, so as busy of a person as I am, there is this company called Factor, and they do pre-made meals. It's like literally cooked, packaged, and shipped right to your door. Like it's all healthy stuff. So like tonight, I had a vegetarian burrito bowl. So it was like, I don't know what the name of the rice is, but it's like those little beady rice things.
Oh, like couscous, kind of, maybe? Quinoa?
It's a little bit, it might be quinoa, but it had like sweet potatoes, roasted corn, and then just a whole bunch of other vegetables. It's always super good. And I pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes.
Nice.
But those are what I bring to lunch most of the time. And then there's also like, this is gonna sound so dorky, but my face cleaner. I love it. It's this like mechanism where it like rotates back and forth, and it's just like takes off all the makeup and all the dirt, and I've never felt more clean in my life after washing my face with that thing.
Don't you love that? And then when you go to like put on like the oils and the moisturizers, and it just glides, and you're like, oh, it's so clean.
Penetrate my skin.
Especially in winter, we're all so dry right now too.
Yes. Well, it's called a Lumi Spa if y'all are interested. I love it.
I've seen them. I've actually seen a few people who have talked about those.
Oh, it's the best.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Well, what is making you laugh?
Just make me laugh. A couple of Netflix series.
Do tell.
Schitt's Creek was phenomenal. Obby.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I've never watched more Netflix in my life than in 2020. So I'm kind of losing track of everything. Like all the shows that I'm watching. New Girl is always a really fun one to rewatch. I think I'm on the 3rd time rewatching it.
Yeah.
It's one of those like gut busting laughing moments where like you can't have a cup of tea while you're drinking it while you're watching it because you're gonna spit it out. But also TikTok is really funny. Like one of my favorite things to do is type in funny animal TikToks, and I'll sit there with Levi and we'll just like laugh hysterically at these animal fails when they're like trying to jump off the bed and they're just like it's just fun. But
that's cute. Oh, I love that.
Can I ask you your answers?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I am reading It's the book for book club right now. Obviously, it's very memorable. It's called The Light We Lost. It is, I have to be honest, it's not my favorite, but it's also on the heels of American Dirt. So I think I was so enthralled by American Dirt that this book has let me down, kind of. It's a love story, and that's why we picked it for February. But it's just kind of annoying because this girl is constantly comparing two guys, and it's very frustrating. The good thing about it is that it's very short chapters, like 2 pages. So it's like 90 chapters. But
Girl, I can read that book.
I know. So that's the only thing that keeps me going is going, well, I can read another chapter. Okay, well, I can read another chapter. Like, but because whenever you have long chapters, at least for me, I'm like, oof, that one's gonna have to wait because it's too long. So yeah, so that's what I'm reading right now. It's okay. And I'm also reading The Daniel Dilemma by Pastor Chris Hodges. Good. So good. It's about, obviously Daniel in the Bible and how, he has to stand apart from society and how, he gets thrown into the lion's den, and then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and how, it's just all of that and how we can be like Daniel in society today. So it's pretty good. I really like that book.
You'll have
really,
to send
really
me the name of that when we're done. Just send me a text real quick.
I will.
That sounds so good.
It's really, really good. I read that every morning before I read the other book. And then what I'm loving, I am loving my coffee every morning.
Ooh, I love coffee. Are you able to drink regular coffee?
Yes, I am drinking regular coffee, but it is like mold-free, toxin-free, pesticide-free. So yeah, so I get Bulletproof Coffee. They run tests on it, so they certify that it's mold-free. And then I also drink.
There's
it's actually
mold
called
in coffee.
Yes, it's a very moldy bean. Peanuts are very moldy too. Yeah, so if you have to avoid mold or anything like that, you don't want to have peanut butter, and you really have to watch your beans. So Bulletproof is good. And then it's also Clean Coffee is a brand. It's like literally called Clean Coffee. So I drink those with I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, my first one, and I do the same on both. I do a scoop of collagen and coconut oil and coconut milk, like canned coconut milk. And it's like a thick, when it sits in the fridge, and do the little frother to it. Like at night, I look forward to my coffee at night. Like as I'm crawling into bed, I get giddy going, oh, I can't wait to drink my coffee in the morning.
Oh, I thought you meant you have it at night too. I was like, dang, girl.
Oh, girl. No, I would be up forever. I can't do it at night. But yeah, that's what I'm loving. And then what is making me laugh is the boys. What did Clark say today? Like it was cute. When we were at the beach today, I got them new little toys at Hobby Lobby. We went in real quick, and they had these big shovels and like rakes and stuff like that. It was like a 3-pack. So I got that, and I was sitting on the sand and watching, and Clark made a little circle around me, and he made little castle like things going off of it, and he said that was my castle. And then I got up to go to play with Troy, and Clark turned around and fussed at me, and he's like, go back to your castle, sit down in your castle. And I was like, okay, man, okay. So that made me laugh.
So sweet
today. Yeah. Here. Well, Kortnee, I love you so much, and I am so grateful that I don't remember how the connection. Somebody had referenced me to you for hair, and I can't remember who it was.
It was oh my gosh, why am I coming to a blank? I went to high school with her daughter, Jessica. I have 2 clients named Tammy, not Higginbotham. Tammy. What's her last name?
I don't know. So Tammy, and I'm just so grateful because I just love chatting with you and growing with you over the years. It seems. I mean, it's just fun to have you as a friend as well as my hairstylist. And I don't know, I love you, and I love Levi.
I love you too. It's been so fun.
You're so good. Thank you. Well, thank you for being on. And can you share your website or social medias? What's the best way that people can get in touch with you?
Yes. So my website, super simple, www.top, if I could talk, Top Knot Stylist, KONT Knot Stylist. And then all of my links are on my website, but basically if you just type in Top Knot Stylist in any platform, you'll find me. Also, I haven't announced this yet, so y'all kind of get the first exposure to this.
Yeah,
my
sneak
booking
peek.
app is on my website, so y'all can book through my website. It's super simple, super easy. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to use that. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Kortnee. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much for having me.
You're
It
welcome.
was
I'll
so
talk to you later.
fun.
Talk to you friends
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe, comment, leave a review, and share with your friends. Thank you so much. Today's show was edited, mixed, and put together by Jennifer Miner. Music was created for the show by Matt Bowen, and I'm your host, Lauren Greci. I'll be back here next week with another wonderful conversation. Thanks for listening today. Bye, friends.